in one of you. Alright, we're gonna start letting some things in, some screens to change. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. Well, I think we should have like maybe an image to block out my chat if possible. Classic, are you able to talk? Yes, he is, but he's not here. Damn it. Back preview. Hey, what's up? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. I just have to close the chat out to hide this. Don't want you guys seeing it. There we go. I'll probably make it look nicer at some point. Alright. Hey everyone, thanks for joining in. Welcome first time viewers. We're about to start the stream soon in like 3 minutes. So we're just kind of gathering around and just making sure that we're able to see and do what we do and see. So just give us one moment as we kind of get ourselves situated here. See if we can have the alt activity feed prop up proper. It's not what I want to see. My activity feed is not correct. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. If any of you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We're kind of getting situated in 3 minutes, starting 3 minutes. Classic, are you still here? Just check chat real quickly. Alias is saying, I'm suppressed. I don't mind if it's intentional, but I can't reply back if you ask. Yeah, I know. It's intentional. I guess we'll... You know what? Fine. We'll let you guys chat. It's okay. Alright, you guys are now no longer force muted. There. So you guys may want to manually mute your mics now, unless you don't need to. Commando cuff by an alias. Then you can unmute as necessary. Just give us a moment, guys. We're still kind of getting ourselves situated here and set up. we'll do one demonstration for tonight. We'll see if Zach comes in. If he doesn't, then I guess we'll call it after one demonstration, alright? Demonstration kind of more or less lasts for about 90 minutes, so just to kind of break it down as to what to expect, the first half hour is going to be an introduction to the game, skills, classes, etc. The second part is going to be the dungeons, and the third part is going to be Q&A. Alright. Classic, mic check. Are you still there? Alright, Classic isn't with us right now. That's okay. That's fine.
I am back, sorry.
Welcome back. The stream's starting in 1 minute. But, I mean, the stream's technically up right now. That's okay, we can start. Classic, do me a favor, keep an eye on chat.
Yes, sir.
Just get the Big Time Studios in there, and as you're doing that, I'm gonna do my thing as well. How do I pause? There we go. Alright, guys. Just a quick reminder that this is early access launch of Big Time, and you're not looking at the full game. However, we are earning real cosmetic NFTs. Space NFTs are dropping, but is not currently accessible, and you won't see tokens because those features will be live later down the road. With that said, welcome to Big Time, Early Access Edition. Congratulations, you've made it. For today's demonstration, we're gonna discuss the first-time user experience for the Big Time players. That's you. In front of us, we have some tutorial NPCs that discuss the lore behind the Big Time universe. Please interact with them as you acquaint yourself with the world of Big Time. So in front of me over here, we have the Watertown bot, kind of introducing you to Watertown, which is the current town that we're in. Mind you, we're in one of many regions within this area known as Time's End, and Time's End is an adventure zone. We'll discuss a bit more about that later down the road. So you can see as the Watertown robot, as we interact with it, it's welcoming us, talking about time tiers spawning all over the continent, find one of the portals and venturing inside to be more powerful. So time tiers opens up the ability for you and your party to go into what's called adventures. Okay? The next tutorial NPC over here kind of discusses about combat. It's basically how to attack, how to fight within the game, talking about finisher moves. And then we have over here the party tutorial combat. Allows you to kind of acquaint yourself with parties. For those who don't know, if you don't know how to make a party, if you're looking for a party for the first time, hit the P as in Papa button, and that would open up the party finder. This would allow you to currently, again, mind you, this is not the full game, okay? But this is the current party finder UI. This allows you to see players around you who are currently not in a party, and allows you to invite them, allows you to shows you their class, current class that they're playing, their level, and their name. And then you can invite them. Again, in Big Time parties, max size currently is 6. 6 players is the max party size. After the party finder, we also have the cartographer, kind of talking a bit more about the map itself, the world around us. That said, we're going to kind of make our way over towards what's known as Pocket Watch vendors. Quick little stop. This is Albert Einstein. He's going to be our headmaster and is going to be super vital to the lore of the game. Around us, we have various different NPCs, different loot on the ground. I think I'm actually going to grab that and make our way up. If you have any questions at any point in time, please don't hesitate to ask. We do have Classic here, who's going to be able to monitor and keep watching the chat, and he'll be able to ask the questions that you guys have, or answer them if he's able to.
Someone in chat asked, where can I find tier 6 pocket watches? You can find them in the higher level dungeons, like Calfpie said in chat. The higher tier 50 to 50 plus dungeons normally drop them.
Alright, thank you for that. So, first time user experience. You've already made your character, and you made it, and you've chosen your class, right? You've customized your character, you've chosen its gender, and you've chosen your class. What now? Well, introducing the timeline system, which allows you to swap between different characters on the fly via a pocket watch. Now, pocket watches, what are they? A pocket watch allows you to travel through time, playing a character from an alternative timeline. And The current class that I'm playing, as much as it looks like it, is actually a Chronomancer as indicated by this pocket watch over here. And again, even though I'm wearing constant Fixture armor, we'll discuss that a little bit later, I'm currently actually a Chronomancer class. You can see my skill trees here, which more or less, discusses, the different sorts of abilities that I have unique to me. Thanks to the timeline system, though, I am able to seamlessly switch to another class because I have another pocket watch in my inventory. As you can see here, I have a Time Warrior pocket watch. You can see at the top it says Resisting Time Warrior pocket watch. I have a Quantum Fixture starter pocket watch. I have another Chronomancer pocket watch, and I have a Shadow Blade pocket watch. We'll talk a bit more about how to get those pocket watches in a bit, but a little bit more, let's kind of talk about the timeline system and how the timeline system works. So, if I click on the Change Timeline button, again, it's important that I have an inventory where a pocket watch already exists. If I click on the Change Timeline button, I can swap to another class, like so, and then click Change Timelines. Now you can see that I'm currently a warrior, with a different skill set of trees, different list of skills available to me, or abilities. I'm going to switch back to the Chronomancer though, because that is my preferred class. A pocket watch, for those who don't know, in layman's terms, is like a character slot. Within your pocket watch, your inventory, skills, levels, equipment, and more are unique to your pocket watch alone. All of the above aren't shared except for a global or shared inventory that persists across all characters. In this case, you can see it over here. It's a 4x5 grid, allowing you to hold up to 20 different items. This is going to be present across all of your different characters. So as you can see here, we have 18 Tree of Lives and we have 20 Tree of Lives. I changed timelines to the warrior. I have the same 18 Tree of Lives and the same 20 Tree of Lives. Something worth noting is that my expansion bags, which we'll talk about a bit more later, did change because the expansion bags are unique to the pocket watches themselves. In this case, I only have one. I don't have another. So, how does one acquire a pocket watch? Well, for starters, behind us, you can see that we have some pocket watch vendors who, if you interact with them, will provide you with the starter pocket watch for a particular class. Over here, we have the Chronomancer trainer, which provides you a pocket watch for the Chronomancer. I don't want any more of those because I have too many of them. Over here, we have the Quantum Fixture trainer, which I guess we will talk to. And you can see, again, right now we already have a starter pocket watch for the Quantum Fixture, but if I interact with this NPC, pocket watch vendor, you can see that I received a bunch of starter Quantum Fixture gear. And if I hold down the N button, you can see my notification log, where it also shows everything that I just got recently. So what does that mean? Well, if you, again, kind of a just quick rehash, now that I have the starter pocket watch, tier 0 inside of my inventory, all I have to do is change timeline, go to the new pocket watch, this is level 0, switch to it, and equip all of the items that I got to it. For those who are wondering what that giant sword behind my back was, by the way, that is an NFT. We'll discuss a bit more about that later. Let's see, what is this? Defensive subtree. I might sell that later. Because I actually don't want this pocket watch, I am going to throw it away. So let's see. This, we can tell what level your pocket watches are at the top area, at the bottom right of the top, rather. You can see this pocket watch is level 5. It's to the bottom right of common. And this one is level 1. We're going to go to the level 1. So I already have a level 5. And that lets me drop it like so. So with that said, enough about pocket watches. Let's kind of introduce the classes, the faces behind the pocket watches. In front of us, we have a bunch of party members who are doing a great job. It's kind of scattered and running around in circles. We'll start off first with the Time Warrior, played by our very own classic. Time Warriors are bloodthirsty soldiers seeking to taunt enemies, mitigate damage from friends, and deal heavy blows. Time Warriors are the brute force class of Big Time. And played by myself. And alone, I guess there's no one else who is doing it as well. Played by myself, I'm playing the Chronomancer, the practitioners of the dark arts, and imbued with the power to burn, destroy, and weaken enemies. Chronomancers are the magic users of Big Time. You can see I'm just throwing fire. I'm able to... This ring around me allows me to weaken enemies. We'll talk a bit more about skills in a bit. And played by our very own alias, the Shadow Blade. Shadow Blades are nimble rogues who dash in and out of combat, backstabbing foes from the shadows and setting hitting traps. Shadow Blades are the stealthy class of Big Time. And then we have our fourth class, the Quantum Fixer. Brilliant engineers designed to strengthen friends, deploy gadgets, and responsible for keeping the team alive. Quantum Fixers are the support class of Big Time. So with that said, these are the 4 different classes in Big Time. Big Time's always expanding, so they're not... While there will be 4 classes at launch, there will be much more to come. So let's discuss a bit more and get a bit more in-depth about the different classes. We'll start off first with a Time Warrior and kind of discuss, because I know there's been some people who's been asking about the different skills and abilities that these classes have. As you can see, I currently have 0 skills equipped. We'll talk about that later. But at base, the Time Warrior has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 abilities, active abilities. And what active abilities are means that you can activate them by pressing a button. To my right, these are all mastery related abilities, which are something that just kind of are innate with your character, and they're not something that you will have to activate for. Starting from the top left, we have Taunt. Allows you to enrage nearby enemies, encourage them to attack you, so basically pulling aggro and trying to drawing them away from your party members. Doing so has a certain radius, reduces the target's rating, and lasts for a certain duration. After that, we have the Barbarian Shout, which sends a shockwave emanating from the warrior, dealing damage and stunning nearby enemies. Essentially, this is a small AoE-like effect, stunning enemies around you and kind of just keep them off your buddies. After that, we have Kick. It's a very simple kick, but if you look on the far right side, not only does it do damage, but it also weakens the enemy and stacks upon them, allowing your enemies to be debuffed and easier to kill. And then we have the Blood Spray Aura, which for a time dealing melee weapon damage will heal nearby allies. It won't heal yourself though. Before we go into caltrops a little bit, I kind of want to talk about the skills below. So in Big Time, there are going to be certain skills that have what's called prerequisites. And what prerequisites are, it means that you have to have certain points in certain skills in order to unlock them. In this case, we have Whirlwind. It's not going to show here because I already have it unlocked. However, to unlock Whirlwind, you need to have 2 points into Taunt, 2 points into Barbarian Shout, and 2 points into Blood Spray Aura. That allows you to unlock Whirlwind, which is the Time Warrior's ultimate ability. In this case, the Whirlwind looks like so. It allows you to kill multiple mobs at once. And just to kind of rehash real quickly, and I'm going to backpedal for refillment, this is what Taunt looks like. This is what Barbarian Shout looks like. This is what Blood Spray Aura looks like. Back to the skill trees. The other prerequisite skill that also needs to have something inside of it before you can actually put points into it is Into the Breach. And this one requires you to have 1 skill into Blood Spray Aura. This one allows you to have an aura of damage resistance and lasts a certain duration. After that, we have caltrops. Allows you to throw a set of explosive caltrops in front of you. These are spiky deployables that slows enemies that walk over them. And finally, we have Rend Barrier. Rend will allow you to destroy the barrier defensive layer of enemies. For those who don't know, in Big Time, there is a thing called hit bars. And they're not limited. So I believe the most common hit bars that everyone here is familiar with is health bars. Health bars are a type of hit bar because you hit them and they go down. In Big Time, though, there's a total of 4 different hit bars. Outside of health, you also have armor, shielding, and barrier. As you progress through the dungeons, you're going to find yourself coming across higher level enemies, more difficult enemies that may have these different types of hit bars. And before you can even do damage to the health bar, you have to at least go and shoot through the armor bars, shielding bars, or barrier bars. And in some cases, they may have multiple hit bars associated with them. The Time Warrior's specialty is able to do 1000 damage to the barrier hit bar. However, it requires my character to be level 12. Enough said about the Time Warrior. Let's kind of talk about a bit about stats, which is something I kind of briefed over didn't even discuss it all yet. So in Big Time, there are stats just like your traditional MMO. We have Strength, which modifies your max health and non-magic damage modifier. We have Dexterity, which modifies your accuracy and evasion. We have Intelligence, which modifies your max energy and magic damage modifier. We have Vitality, which modifies your max health and elemental resistance. We have Wisdom, which modifies your max energy and energy regain. And then we have agility, which modifies your evasion and movement speed. Essentially, you can put whatever stats you want to into anything you want to, regardless of what class you play. However, at base and by default, if you were to get a starter pocket watch, the Time Warrior is geared to having more strength by default than the other classes. The Shadow Blade is geared to having more dexterity by default than the other classes. The Chronomancer is geared to having more intelligence than the other classes. And the Quantum Fixture has a mixture of both, but does have pretty high wisdom than the other classes. We'll kind of talk a bit more about stats in a little bit and how that affects equipment in big time. However, again, you're not required to put points in any specific stat. This is all up to you. That said, we're going to go talk about the second class of big time, the Chronomancer. Alright. So the Chronomancer here, let's just kind of move this out the way. I have some pocket watch gears. We'll talk a bit more about what that looks like. Keep in mind that the skill tree currently right now for all of the classes I'm going to show you looks very basic, and there's a reason for that. We'll touch more about on that, but a lot of the replayability in big time really kind of comes in from the idea of finding different types of pocket watches and pocket watch gears. Starting in first with the skill trees for the Chronomancer, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 active skills for the Chronomancer. At base, these will never change. First one is going to be Energy Meditation. It's a toggleable aura that lets you heal the energy points of your party members around you, as well as allies. Something worth noting is that your aggro rating is increased while meditating. When you're meditating, it means mobs are more likely to go to you and attack. If you have 1 point to energy meditation, you can unlock Summon Allies, which is a portal ability. It allows you to teleport all of your nearby friends towards you. After that, we have Minor Fireball. Actually, we can just discuss what it looks like. Meditation looks like this. Anything within this aura is able to regain energy points. I'm going to turn that off. And then we have the portal, the Summon Allies ability, which looks like that. Unfortunately, you can't see much on their side, but basically what shows up on their side is a gate. That allows my teammates to, like Alias, to teleport back in. After that, we have Minor Fireball, which is a small fireball, allowing you to do ignite damage to an enemy, letting them burn over time, so it looks more or less like this if I can aim proper. And if you have 3 points of Minor Fireball, you can start putting points into Fire Blast. Fire Blast is a large AoE fire-based damage, allowing you to also burn the enemies caught within its range. And it looks like that. After Fireball, we have Minor Devolve, allows you to debuff and weaken enemies, reducing their level and making them easier to kill enemies. And it looks like this. Something worth noting, though, because I find myself falling privy to this a lot, is you can be interrupted in the middle of your devolve animation, and if you are, your devolve doesn't go through, so you have to keep in mind to hopefully not be attacked while you're doing that ability, but it does weaken the enemies around you significantly. After devolve, we have Rend Armor. So kind of talking about the whole hit bars from earlier, where the Time Warrior is great at destroying barrier, doing 1,000 points to barrier. Chronomancers are great at destroying armor, with the Rend Armor ability, doing 1,000 points to armor. After the Chronomancer, we're going to introduce the third class, the Shadow Blade. Actually, I have to equip my skills back in real quickly. So something worth noting really quickly, let's talk about Pocket Watch. It's a little out of order. As you can see, as mentioned earlier, the Chronomancer only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 active abilities. That does seem a little lackluster for many of you, and for a lot of you, you guys are just saying, you know, there's no way this is going to last me forever, and the answer is you're right. A lot of the replayability in the game is looking for what's called Pocket Watch gears. In this case, you can see I have 1, 2, 3 Pocket Watch gears. If I hover over a Pocket Watch gear, you can see at the bottom of the screen that there are different abilities that come with it. In this case, this one comes with Energy Ball, Stealth Subtree, and Frost Ball. Let me just check one message really quickly. Alright. And then we also have Firewall over here. Then we have Ice Lances over here. And the way you can equip these Pocket Watch gears is like so. You drag and drop. And if you look at my skill tree, again, this one unlocked Energy Ball and Frost Ball. Again, we had 6 skills earlier, we now have access to 1, 2, 3 abilities now. So throughout your game, your big time experience, you're going to be looking for different types of pocket watches, which, depending as to which pocket watches you come across, can come across with additional bonus stats, can come across with built-in skill trees, and can come with additional pocket watch gear slots. I'm going to equip this one in really quickly, and I'm also going to equip this in as well. And as you can see, my skill trees are slightly modified, where I now have access to Ice Lance right there. I just need to accept one thing really quickly, sorry. Sorry, give me one moment, guys. Alright. Now that we've spoken about a bit about the Chronomancer, let's talk about the Shadow Blade. Classic, any questions so far from the stream?
I've already answered them all in text.
Perfect, thank you so much. Alright, let's talk about the skill trees for the Shadow Blade. Currently I have no pocket watch gear, so all of these are going to be the base skills of the Chronomancer. Up first, we have the Backstab ability, which, again, calling back to the Shadow Blade, they're like to hide behind the shadows. They're stealthy. They like to go in and out of combat as quickly as possible, and getting enemies from behind. In this case, the Backstab does a great job at showcasing that. You do a buttload of damage if you use the Backstab ability, allowing you to weaken them and do damage over time. If you put 6 points into Backstab, you can unlock the Sap ability, which allows you to stun enemies after backstabbing them. 6 points into Sap allows you to unlock the Hamstring ability, which allows you to massively debuff the enemies, reducing their evasion, dodge, block rate, and mitigation. So, some of you guys are wondering, well, how can I backstab enemies if they're always going to be aggroed onto me or looking at me? Well, that's where you're in luck. The Shadow Blade also has an ability called Smoke Proof. Using Smoke Proof allows you, looks like this. It allows you to get behind enemies without being caught, because it does reduce your aggro rating by a lot. Putting 1 point into Smoke Proof allows you to unlock the ability Ninja Leap, which allows you to cover a large area of distance within a short period of time, like so. The alternative is doing this, but it doesn't go as far. Also, having 1 point into Smoke Proof allows you to unlock Shuriken, which allows you to throw a Shuriken, and the higher levels of the ability will allow the Shurikens to bounce to more nearby enemies. What's really cool about the Shuriken, even though is that it's a little bit on the weak end from what I've heard from other people, you can see that not only does it weaken enemies, but it also does damage to multiple hit bars, such as barrier, shielding, and of course help. After Shuriken, we have Grasping Roots. Grasping Roots allows you to create a trap in front of enemies, allowing you to slow them down. And finally, we have the Rend Shielding ability for the Shadow Blades, which again, quick recall about hit bars. Time Warriors can do damage to barriers, or specialize in dealing damage to barriers. Chronomancers specialize in dealing damage to armor, and the Shadow Blade specializes in dealing damage to shielding. 1,000 damage for that matter. After the Shadow Blade, we next have the Quantum Fixer. The Quantum Fixer here already has a gear, so I'm just going to take one of my gears out, so it's not... we can see what the base looks like. At its base, the Quantum Fixer has a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 abilities. No rending abilities, mind you, so there is no... it doesn't do special damage to armor, shielding, or barrier. First up, we have Light Heal. Allows you to heal all players underneath your reticle or cursor. If you put 6 points into Light Heal, you have access to Superior Heal, which allows you to heal all places under your reticle or cursor, but does more healing. If you put, I believe, 1 or 3 points into Light Heal, you get access to Healing Aura. Or, I'm sorry, it's 1 point. 1 point into Light Heal. Gives you access to Healing Aura, and it looks like this. Allows you to heal enemies within your radius. For those who are wondering what Light Heal looks like, it looks like this. I'm going to turn off the Healing Aura. After healing aura, if you manage to have 3 points of the light heal and 1 point into healing aura, you can unlock instant revive. A very powerful ability. Would you say so, Classic? Instant revive ability of the Quantum Fixer?
Absolutely, very useful.
Why is that?
Because you always don't have time to heal your teammates in the midst of battle. You know, with the traditional just hold E button, it takes a little bit of time. It's nice to, you know, have them up instantly when you need them.
Exactly. And on top of that, instant revive allows you to revive multiple players at the same time. So instead of having to wait for the reviving animation that has to go through, which takes a couple of time, instant revive allows you to instantly revive anybody within your radius. So long as you have your entire team, let's say, let me paint you a picture. You're in a boss room. You're fighting a bunch of difficult bosses, and your entire team, except for you, die. You're a Quantum Fixer. Well, thankfully, because you have instant revive, so long as your teammates all cuddle up into one little area, you can revive them all at once with this one ability, instead of having to individually revive them one at a time. It's almost an absolute must for every party, by the way. After instant revive, we have Heal Drone, which requires 2 of Healing Aura. This allows you to deploy a drone, which will follow you or a teammate around and keep you healed. After Healing Drone, we have the Fortify Gate, which allows you to place a gate down, allowing you to mitigate damage. I don't have this one unlocked, but essentially allows you to take more damage, or reduces the amount of damage you receive from enemies. And all of your party members can go through this. And finally, we have Heal Beam, which is a long-range beam that allows you to heal friendlies from afar. That said, that's basically the skills of Big Time, as well as the classes. We kind of discussed a bit about pocket watches as well. We'll kind of start moving along and discuss a bit about where we are.